in there. Hi, okay, I'm here. How do I get out? Where am I at? Banners, whatever. Make that stop. Me, can you guys see me? Where are my comments? Hi, everybody. Can everybody see me? No, can you not? Hi. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Nope. Oh, shit. What's happening here? Can you guys see me? You can see me and hear me fine on TikTok. I'm looking for YouTube. I tried to do something and it's just a big old dumb silly thing. I hate it. Hello, hello. No comments. Okay, can you guys hear? You can't hear or see me. Why is this doing this? You guys, this is the first time I'm using something new. And of course, do 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 do. I don't know why you can't see me. I don't know why. I just want to be able to show you my pictures. No, I don't want that. Settings, camera. Why can you not see me? Mirror, whatever. I'm scared to get out because what it'll do is it will shut the whole thing down. Holy shit, what just happened? I hit something that I don't want to see. Got it. Oh, there we go. I took that off. Why can't you fucking see me? This is absolutely insane. This is so dumb. This is so silly. Get rid of this overlay. Get rid of it more. Delete, delete. Make it all go away. There. Oh, can you see me now? Oh, hell yeah. It was just me. I think I did something silly. I was just clicking on stuff, trying to make it all cute. Whatever. If this is the way it's going to go, this is the way it's going to go. Oh, hello. Hi, guys. Okay. I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm just going to go ahead. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, hi. I'm just going to start because otherwise we're going to run out of time here. And that's not what I want. Can you guys see me? Hi. How's it going? Perfect. Peekaboo. Hi. So let's go ahead and talk about some things because there has been something that is completely insane. It is on my mind. And I am hearing like real credible whispers from people inside of the film industry saying that Deadpool and Wolverine actually made a loss. And let me show you why. Because, and I've been navigating the UK internet. So if you guys are here from the UK, I'm talking directly to YouTube. I feel like, sorry, TikTok, but you're going to take the back seat because usually you get the primary seat. So we're just going to do a little shifty action, but I have both of you guys here. So what I want to tell you guys about is that there is the Deadpool Wolverine movie, the one that was cross promoted at the same time of It Ends With Us, did not turn a profit, and it actually made not even not less than expected, but like barely even broke even. And I'm talking like an overall financial loss. And people inside the film industry are all going, what happened? And I listened to a couple of like just background insiders talk about, is it because Ryan Reynolds had control of this movie? And you guys, the amount of fireworks that lit up behind, like in my brain, I was like, why they're not following this lawsuit? Like we're all of these dots are connecting for me in my brain, and I just want to weave you guys through them, and that's why I wanted to jump on this live. So Really quick for 2026, of course, it's December. We're gonna start. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I feel like I want to try and commit to like regular YouTube streaming. So I'm testing out this whole StreamYard. I've never done anything like this before. So if I'm sorry about the kinks in the beginning, I'll do better next time. But what I want to tell you is like, is there things that you guys would want to see? Is there stuff you wouldn't want to see? Talk to me. Like, what are we naming this? Like, I don't think I'm full on like podcasting, but I might be willing to commit to like, let's talk about one big thing once a week and like what works best. Is it middle of the workday? That might work better for me. But I'm also in the Midwest, so it's central. So let's talk about that. What would that look like? And let's kind of go from there. Um, so tell me in the chat where are you guys at? Oh my gosh, share your comments. Cool. That's what, yes. And so there is so much, but I hope it did make a loss. Somebody said, Steven, you're silly. But there's some like some crazy things that are going on. Let me walk you through what I'm looking at. And so if you guys are kept following me on TikTok, I'm so sorry. I cannot do the images for you guys. So you'll have to just pop over to YouTube and watch me there. And that's where I'm going to bring things up for you guys to actually reference and see what I'm looking at. Okay. But really what I truly want to hit on is why are we talking about the UK? And it's because there are people right now that are absolutely up in fucking arms over in the UK because there was a $60.9 million like tax credit that was given back to Disney for filming Deadpool and Wolverine in the UK. Okay. Chew on that. $61 million of UK taxpayer money. People that are literally struggling to just everybody knows how hard times are right now, but taxpayer dollars that are supposed to go towards infrastructure, towards like what you would think your tax dollars go towards, headed straight back to Disney because they decided to film not even like in the like because that's the whole idea, right? And let me pull up this article that I was reading through here, and I'll show it for you here. Share my screen. Don't show these tips again. I think I could figure that out. Um, Forbes was one of the first people to go ahead and talk about it, but did Deadpool and Wolverine. So that was the first one. Let me stop doing that one and let me go back to. We want to actually show you this article first because this article is where I think my brain started to explode. This is from the Standard. So it is revealed Disney pockets record 61 million of the UK taxpayers' money to make a superhero Ryan Reynolds film. Wild. Hi, Olathe. How's it going? Absolutely wild. Can you guys not see it? Oh, fuck me. Gosh darn it. Excuse my language. Sorry, Mom. I don't mean to embarrass you. Oh, gosh. See, this is where I'm like, look at me. I'm just add to the stage. There you go. We're all on stage now. I just have to add people to the stage. I didn't realize that. Okay, so then as we are, go ahead and scroll through our guys here. So it says the government has come under fire after it emerged that a record of 60.9 million of taxpayers' cash was handed to Disney in order to film the movie. And turns out that movie was filmed inside of their studios out there. It's like Pinewood, like on like a set. It's not even like they were out and about in the UK. It was like on a set there. But it is understood that it is the largest sum ever handed to a movie production company in a single year since the government introduced the incentives to attract filmmakers to the UK in 2007. So take that for a second and realize that Ryan Reynolds, Disney, and Deadpool and Wolverine decided to take advantage of a UK-based tax credit, which I get it. There's games to be played, but the part that was really curious to me was the spending of the movie. So let's read on here. The blockbuster payment would cover the cost of about 802 GPs for a year. Oh gosh, we're getting text. But the article guy kind of goes on and it talks about the tax burden for ordinary families. Ministers are handing tens of million pounds to one of the most profitable corporations to make a superhero film. And the subsidies should be scrapped or tightly capped, and taxpayer money should be used to fix public services and not boost the balance sheets of global entertainment giants. And so I was talking to a few like behind the scenes, like a little insiders, and they were talking about how from the tax documents that were just revealed, which I can also share, and where this article is kind of pulling from. Let me pull it up for you here. See, this is where I can see how people have it normally set out. I'll do better next time. I can see it. I see how these things should be done. I'm trying to figure out how people do this so smoothly, and I've discovered it. I understand it a little more. Is this my application? Yeah, it sure is. Right here. So this is directly from the gov.uk website that shows the financial position of the oh gosh, and add to the stage. Right here. Right for you guys all, right here. This is so Richmond Street Productions is basically the LLC that they created in the UK in order to do the whole Deadpool and Wolverine films. And so this is, if you didn't know, and this is something new that I learned, they don't do this in the United States, so it's such a foreign concept. But people actually have to report their financial earnings and talk about their financial positions. And report it to the government, which they put it on the UK government, and they put it on this website. And that website is there for public viewing. So as we go through this, what I want to show you is that this is literally the company that Marvel used for Deadpool. And right here, you can see the audio visual. This is it's on page 18. Let me scroll down here for you. Right here, it's the audio. Yes, here. Oh, that's page 19. I'm fine. The audiovisual expenditure, so the AVEC estimate, you guys. So this is where you can see their numbers and their UK side spend. But I think the key piece to understand about this is that this is how much they spent in 2023, right over here in this column. And this is how much they spent over in 2024. So if you see, it's over 500 million, and that's what the numbers kind of equate out to. These are the costs that we can prove because they had to report them and they had to be publicly available over in the UK in order to create Deadpool versus Wolverine. This is the cost. So it's about over 500 million US dollars. And that's not even including the marketing that it would take to market a big film like this, like over $200 million, right? That you would think they would put into marketing a film like this alongside It Ends With Us. And so we know that they not only filmed in the UK, but they also filmed in Atlanta, and there were scenes that were filmed in Vancouver. So that cost isn't even equated in. So in the end, going through and seeing how much they actually spent on Deadpool versus Wolverine is absolutely effing insane. And let's look at some of the comments. So, yeah, have your pet taxes paid by Nice Pool. But so this is, yes. So I've not watched, yes. So Wally, looking at your comment here, let me show. So it says, I've not watched any of the Deadpools, but you're saying those yes, those blockbusters, the first two movies, unclear, but as far as Deadpool and Wolverine, which is the third installment, has made a loss. And where that's coming from is $700 million total. So 500 that they reported in the UK, an estimated $200 million in marketing costs. That's about $700 million just in production costs alone. That's not the editing of the film, the creating, the distribution, all of that. That is all that. So they were projecting about a $1.4 billion breaking point in order to make it even on this movie. Isn't that insanity? What kind of insanity do you suffer from thinking that you can tell your investors that they need to invest $1.4 billion into a movie and I might be able to make that back so that you can break even? That's not even, just wrap your mind around how much money that movie would have to make to meet 1.4. Like, it's insane. It's so insane. So then I could see where all these, so I can keep doing all these. So when you come through, and let me add another little share screen for you guys. This is the box office, the worldwide box office here. Let me add to the stage here. Can you guys see that total number for the worldwide box office of how much? Can you see it? You guys can't see it. I'm sorry. It says from thenumbers.com, it says that Deadpool and Wolverine pulled out 1.33 billion, just under. And so you guys can't see me. Can't see you, but can hear you. Are you guys having any audio visuals? Sorry, I'm still learning how to operate this whole thing. I think I've kind of messed her all up, but I'm trying to do my best, okay? We're figuring it out. See all these different like views I can send you in? Okay, so that's one of the big key pieces. I was like, okay, so this is like so basic studio math, whatever the spend is, you want to try and double it. So let's just say from those UK costs that we saw over 500 million, think about the industry standard marketing of like 200 million. You would want to think that you would have to double it to break even because studios are going to try and keep at least 50% of the box office, right? The actual gross is about $1.3 billion. They did not break even. So what this means is either Disney was being absolutely reckless with their fiscal spending, and who knows why. I wonder who is in control of creating that movie. Ego. J Mom, you are fucking on top of it. We are like this, girl. We are like this. I know it. So some of the insiders are saying that the MCU is a little bit in trouble. They are losing money on movies because they need them to be blockbusters, and it exposes like this kind of cultural financial delusion that's happening inside of Hollywood. So this is where everything started to kind of click for me when I heard that was like this culture of financial delusion. Where have we heard that before? Anybody's hints? Hello, Blake Lively on the set of It Ends With Us. Insane. Absolutely insane. So when you look at Deadpool's overspending and then you look at Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' behavior, both of their behaviors on the set of It Ends With Us, you start to see some of the same patterns. And let me show you here too, because this is why it's so much it's so smoother on I'll figure it out at some point here. I'll take screenshots next time, and I think that'll make it a little easier. But if you pull up this timeline of relevant events from the lawsuitinfo.com, and again, take it with a grain of salt because this is coming from the Wayfair parties. So it is not coming from points of evidence or fact. This is just speculation. However, this is a screenshotted email from their original Exhibit A timeline that says, hey, the line producer on the film shares concerns about the ballooning wardrobe budget resulting from Lively's takeover, stating that it was way more than she had ever seen a wardrobe budget go over with the initial spend. As mentioned in the complaint, the wardrobe budget ballooned. You guys read this and it says, the wardrobe budget for spending was about $185,000. And normally the wardrobe, they overspend and they do a ton of returns, which don't get me started about the ethics of that. I don't know if I love that, but then it ends up in the budget. Our wardrobe team told me that they'd spend about 500K, but then land back at 185 once the returns are done. But to date, they have already spent 615K and they need their cash cards all replenished because they've shopped for only Justin and Blake. They had to reshop everything for Blake after creative changes, but it's a lot of money. And this is more than I have ever seen a wardrobe go over budget with the initial spend. At this point, we have to replenish cards because they haven't shopped for any of the other characters. So for the two main characters alone, Blake Lively had already blown that budget out of water. And something makes you go, maybe it was Ryan Reynolds. Maybe it was Ryan Reynolds. Maybe that was why Deadpool and Wolverine completely blew whatever they had projected for a budget out of the water. Why? Why would somebody do that? Was this movie just that fucking amazing that it needed, like, you know what I mean? What does that even go? It's not like I mean, I've seen parts of, well, my husband watched the whole thing, but I've seen parts of it. And it's like, I don't think there was anything within that movie that was so like, wow, I can't believe that. Like, where did all the money go? Where did all of it go? What was it put towards and why? So this is where I kind of wanted to start weaving in and talking a little bit about the ego. that must run within that family and must run within that relationship, because not only on the set of It Ends With Us was there issues with Blake's overreach, but we started to trickle in things of Ryan Reynolds overreach into a movie that he shouldn't have had any hand in. Let me take a little voice break because, as you guys know, I'm slowly getting it back, and this definitely is not going to help. But ask your questions. Hopefully I'm like aligning some thinking for you guys. Hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, right? Because not only is this so effing insane. Yeah, thank you so much, girly. Yeah, everybody like and share this. I'm thinking about doing more of these. I don't know how these are supposed to go necessarily, but I always see things like this and I'm like, cool, how do people do that? Like, I want to be cool like that too. And so I want to make sure. So I'm learning how to use this StreamYard. And I do think I want to, yeah, we'll get there. But this is all kind of stemming from the reports. And this kind of came out, when was the original article that came out? Thanksgiving Day, that the articles came out about Deadpool and Wolverine costing over $500 million to make, but did it turn a profit? I know that It Ends With Us did, but I wonder why. Was there people in there trying to hold people back? Let me see some of these comments. Blake wanted those designer boots because, yes, and that's kind of too speaks to, like, you know, how realistic is it that I don't think that they understand what the volume of $1 is, right? We talked about or I showed you guys so right here it says the costume budget, it skyrocketed up to $615,000. Her character was a broke florist, right? That was fleeing abuse, but she somehow had like $800. What were they, $800 or were they $8,000? Somewhere in there, she wanted these crystal boots that she was tromping around in that hospital wearing that horrid guys. I just fucking can't even sometimes. I'll tell you what. But she wanted the character to wear them. It wasn't just her. Her character wore them. That's not method acting. That's delusion. That is absolutely delusion. So I don't think that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively understand money because they have never had to, right? Maybe Ryan, and maybe that's why he's coming out with his new little fun anxiety stories and things that are in the headlines, right? But this is what happens when actors have lived in studio financed fantasy worlds for so long that they don't even understand budgets. They don't understand fiscal constraints. They don't understand how the world operates or regular human logic anymore, right? Because they've just lived in their own little bubble for so long. So I think this is where I started to see some crossovers, because it started to directly tie into, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Art Lover. I don't know what that means or what you did, but it glowed up yellow, and that is a lot of money. Thank you so much. Thank you. Some of her damages, like I want to go in and talk. I heard a Canadian Hollywood. What does that mean? The tattered jeans she wore were 16. Shut the absolute front door. That is too much money for jeans. I can't even bring myself to buy, like, if jeans are over $60, I get nervous because I just, you know what I mean? The boots are so ugly. Yeah, you guys are right. What's coming over here? They don't understand. Thank you for the roses. Thank you so much, you guys. The authorship's pretty sure $8,000. Shut up. He likely has debt from those who are invested in, so they're trying to sue a billionaire. I don't think so. KJ said on TikTok, she says Ryan likely has debt from those who invested in Deadpool, so they're trying to sue a billionaire. I don't think that's it at all. Not trying to shade you or anything like that. I think it's literally coming from this point of delusion where money does not mean anything. It is nothing, right? Because they have so much audacity. And I have so much more to show you. There's one other piece that I think is so fun. We're going to get there. We'll get there. So stay here, because I want to show you the connection between the movie really fast, but then we need to talk about Wrexham, because I think we'll get there. So this is where it starts to tie directly into Blake Lively's lawsuit, because her damages that she has claimed in her lawsuit are so absolutely effing unhinged, because she has never had to live inside of a real budget before. When has she ever been able to have to live? She's never been told no, from my understanding, allegedly, right? From where I am sitting, it looks like she does not understand what normal spending looks like, nor has she ever had to consider the cost benefit of what those creative decisions are. That's truly evidenced. Oh my gosh, thank you, Anastasia. That's evidence to me by the meeting that they were having that debacle over. So, if you guys recall the Jamie Heath looked me in my eyes meeting, I kept trying to figure out what's the situation with that meeting? What's the understanding behind that meeting, right? Because for the longest time, it was nothing but this whole big like, I don't like how my face is circled, but I'm gonna fix that. I didn't like how um I was like, why are they going into Blake's trailer to have a meeting about a meeting? That makes no sense to me. What are they doing? And that's when I started listening to people like Alicia on TikTok. So Alicia is an amazing film industry insider. If you guys don't follow her work, you really should. But she was talking a little bit about how time is money, right? Like, so they were going in to talk to Blake, like, can we do this meeting tonight? Because otherwise it's going to affect all these other things. And that stuff is all those decisions that are made are going to continue to add up in cost over time. And her just having lack of consideration for any of that and then refusing to return to filming. That was something that came out in those most recent lawsuit, right? Those most recent things that were kind of uh, what what unsealed. That's the word I'm looking for. The unsealings, right? That just came out on the 27th. That timeline that they had put together, and of course, I don't have a picture of it pulled up right now, but in that timeline, they were talking about how she refused. There was no real indicator. The event protected activity maybe had happened in May. She returned with that 17-point list in what? Um, Returned in like September, and then she said absolutely is not going to return to filming. And they had to push it until January of that next year. It's crazy, right? That's absolutely crazy. So those are just kind of some pieces where I'm like, treats basic constraints as harassment. She sees normal production boundaries as retaliation, and any pushback that comes to her, she says is defamation. So in the end, I think there's just so much that is happening from the lively that just so many connections that are happening between Ryan Reynolds and how she sees her husband act on a set versus how she acted on the set of It Ends With Us. Hi, wow, there is 550 people here on YouTube. You guys are insane. Hi, how's it going? Nice to see you. But if you didn't know, Ryan Reynolds and it's come out it was around Thanksgiving that it came out that the UK actually awarded a tax credit to Disney and Deadpool for 61 million pounds, which equates to a little over $500,000 back to Deadpool and Wolverine for filming in the UK. Just a nice little fun tax credit, right? Something a little like something they knew. And whether they were taking advantage of the system, the taxpayers in the UK paid 61 million pounds to Disney for Deadpool and Wolverine to be filmed at the Pinewood studio over in, I think it was Ivor, UK. Hi, if you're from there, how's it going? Let me take a second to take a little drink of water. If you guys have questions or comments, thank you so much for being here. I have one more major point to make. Oh my gosh, I'm out of water. Okay. So let me find my notes because of course I made like bullet point notes so that I remember what to talk about. But then of course that's distracting me because I'm figuring out this StreamYard thing. Thanks for being so patient with me, you guys. This is my second live on YouTube, if you can believe it. And my very first time using the fun like little things. Okay. Hi, how's it going? I checked that the marketing budget was 60, more than double the production of 25 million. How much of that went? Well, let me pull up this comment here for you guys so you can see it. So she says, I was curious today and I checked that the It Ends With Us marketing budget was $60 million, more than double the production budget of 25. Sounds very similar to the Deadpool and Wolverine situation, right? How much of that went to Maximum Effort, the Ryan Reynolds marketing company? I don't know. I don't know. I can look into it a little bit more. Um, However, I will say that there seems to be a correlation between Deadpool and Wolverine being run by Ryan Reynolds going over budget, $1.4 billion dollars. And that's all we can see. They had to have spent more than that, but they don't have to report all their stuff in the United States, right? So let me go back because there is one more big major story that's kind of going on right now, you guys, that I do think that is important that we kind of cover because there is some BS that's happening. And I think this is kind of being reported more as sports news, not necessarily as entertainment news. But I think it's all relevant because it seems to me that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, oh gosh, and excuse me. It seems to me that Ryan Reynolds is taking advantage of whatever tax credits in the United Kingdom that he possibly can because Wrexham landed 18 million pounds in taxpayer funding for the Wrexham AFC club. And that was just announced 2 days ago. Let me just give you a second to chew on that. This article is from, I thought I showed you. Oh, no. This article is the second one. I should show you the OG article because I was trying to see how everybody was citing it, right? Let me pull you up to remove that. This was the original article here, was this Guardian. Wrexham AFC receives 18 million pounds from the government despite Hollywood backing. And as we go through this story, it says, let me stop that one. Over here. Oh gosh, oh my gosh. I love you guys. Thank you for being so patient with me. Share. Okay. It says, the club has received almost 18 million pounds in non-repayable grants from the Welsh government via the local council, according to the UK government state aid disclosures, far in excess of the direct aid listed for any other football club in Britain. Do you think that's a coincidence? The Wrexham County Borough Council had previously said that the club would receive a substantial amount of the £25 million Welsh government grant to redevelop the area. However, it didn't previously reveal that it would directly receive most of the cash. Now, Rob McElhaney has recently changed his name to Rob Mack, but Reynolds, the producer and star of the billion-dollar Deadpool film series, and producer of the Star and Company, whatever, completed the takeover in 2021. And the Welsh government money flowed even as its star producers came up with the Disney TV documentary. But I do like that the article here for The Guardian went over that fact that this is an 18 million non-repayable subsidy to a privately owned business that is now flirting with a 350 million pound valuation. Its existing owners are US based and are very wealthy and liquid private individuals. Absolutely insane. The grant comes at a time when council budgets are under pressure. Apparently, this week, they reported an alleged budget crisis in some of the city's schools, with some schools possibly forced to cut spending to make up for a £3 million budget deficit. Now, I don't know who bought who, but that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what's going on, but what it smells like to me is that somebody found a way to find, and maybe it's been the plan all along. Maybe he's known for a while that there's some grants, there's some things out there in the UK that we just need to go in. We need to build what we need to build. Oh, of course. Oh my gosh. I went through and highlighted that whole thing and didn't show you guys. I'm such an asshole. Oh no. You guys, this whole article is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. As you go through, I highly recommend everybody goes through, but it talks the substantial amount of the Welsh government. Wow. It is just, that is absolutely insane to me, you guys, because this is where the pattern becomes undeniable, right? It's not just movies. It's not just that money is fake, the taxpayers will cover it. Celebrities deserve everything mindset that continues to show up in every single one of their ventures. And that's the connection that it made for me. Is I saw the Wrexham story and I saw the Deadpool and I was like, what's going on with the grants and the credits? It's like, I understand that as a business owner, like, so I don't really dox them for that, but, or not dox. Oh my gosh, what a bad word. I don't really like, I don't think there's any hard, like, obviously that's the government's oopsie and people have every right. It's so valid to be upset about that. But in the end, I don't think that that's the issue. I think the issue is why are they asking for these grants in the first place? Why are they not? It just is continuing to speak to this pattern of like, okay, taxpayers are going to help build a fancy stadium and match requirements so that me as a Hollywood owner can benefit from an increased club value, tourism, and broadcasting deals. And I think the credits for the movie for Deadpool and Wolverine were there because in the end, when people are producing a movie and why these credits exist in the first place, right? Or because the UK's government wants that industry brought to them, right? They want their people in the UK employed. They want their their businesses to receive the funding from tourism coming in to see the movie being produced or for example being filmed there or whatever. But when people like Ryan Reynolds take Deadpool and Wolverine and go and shoot it in a production studio in the UK where it's not like they're using the natural landscapes or etc. And then they outsource so much more of it. And yet they still try and go in and receive these huge credits and these huge like kickbacks. It's just fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It's just wild, wild stuff. It happens to popcorn. It doesn't cut out for everyone though. What happened? So I need to reload my whatever. Is that true? Do you guys want to see some comments while we're going through here? This is so cool that you guys can see this. I love this kind of platform. It's kind of neat. I don't know about the background, but we're working on it, guys. Has this brought up any connections for you guys? Is the volume low for anybody? Sorry. It's not probably not low. It's my voice is naturally so loud, but I'm sick and I'm slowly getting my voice back. So you could probably kind of hear a little bit of it. I'm a football content creator and tell you a lot of teams, but they use Betty Boos for sponsors. See, that's where I feel like there's a lot of crossover too, is they're using a lot of their small companies to double dip, right? Like using Maximum Effort as the marketing company to come up with all the marketing. So they're paying themselves large chunks of this budget and it's all just getting, it's just such a intertwined, like such a way that they've got the system worked, which I mean, good on them. But in the end, I think sometimes the ethics are questionable because then you look at the it ends with us conflict, right? You go back and you look at what's happening and you realize that these people feel like they have so much power that they are willing to, they feel like they can do anything. They are invincible, right? The UK just gave them what, a solid like 80 million pounds in credits because they applied for them. Just granted it. No big deal, right? Isn't that wild? So as we go through, let me talk to you. So it looks like I was trying to find, so with the Guardian, so I know you guys can still see this article. So these guys were the first ones to show the headline about the 18 million pound grant. So I was trying to look for a copy of that grant budget, but I can't really find one. It looks like it was announced through the UK Leveling Up. or through like their government redevelopment. And it's not a part of like their operational budgets. But if anybody else is a sleuther, kind of like I am, let me just show you where I went to try and get some of this, just in case you guys ever want to like look for yourselves. If you head on into, if you head on in, what's the name of the website? It's gov.uk, but this is gov.uk, but it's like find and update company information. There's a big old like long URL, but you can come in here. This is where you can see their filing history, their statement of capital, but this is where you can look up those companies within the UK that have to make those public reportings. So that's just a place where you can go and try and find that. But they really are kind of being a little bit scammy, if I do say so myself. So let me make sure I covered all my notes. Yeah, the UK leveling up we talked about. But this honestly, like, so going through it too, it's just, this is all just the same energy as the Marvel tax credit and the Deadpool overspending. It's these celebrity-led projects that get massive taxpayer backing while normal people are told to continue to tighten their belts and like, recycle more and, all of those things that we're told all the time to try and cut back and reduce your grocery spending. Yet it's so infuriating, So when we talk about Deadpool losing money, or Blake Lively demanding couture for like her broke florist character, Lily Bloom, or Wrexham getting an 18 million pound in taxpayer grants, we're not talking about isolated incidents. We're talking about a culture within this couple, this powerful Hollywood couple, that money is fake, budgets are for somebody else, taxpayers will cover it, studios will cover it. The reality is optional. And I think that is a really important thing to keep in mind. Okay. So the last thing I kind of want to look at, because of if you haven't seen already, I did put up a new video kind of covering, the newest orders that have come out in Lively versus Baldoni. If you haven't seen, the judge went ahead and is going to let the Wayfair parties redo their RFAs and submit those back in. But we do have quite a bit coming up on the schedule for things this week. So we're going to see quite a bit coming out here. What I did want to look at is what it looks like right now when we, let me change our screen share to what does it look like when we Google search for Blake Lively right now? What does it look like? Because I think it's real interesting. Sometimes I practice this with myself a little bit. Blake Lively, what does it look like when we Google your name? Oh, 2 hours ago, Perez, the top of the hits. Look at you. But it ends with us. And oh, look, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's group effort initiative set for leveling up after 5 years. Let's talk about why it says this. Do you guys see this? This is Netflix Junkie, but what's the other one? Variety did the other article. So let's look at this. Oh gosh. Continue without supporting. So Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively mark Hollywood Training and Mentorship Program Group Effort Initiative's 5-year anniversary. We're leveling up even more. And this has been a fun, unique little thing that I have been doing lately, you guys, is I have been practicing my PR skills. And what I mean by that is everything that we have talked about up until this point. Have you heard some of the things that I've talked about? Because where have you heard these key pieces? Leveling up. That is the same name of the grant that Wrexham AFC got. Girl, I did check that URL. Don't you forget about it, girlie. I did check that URL. The URL doesn't look too nefarious, but as you go through, it says they have launched a group effort initiative, their Hollywood training program for members of unrepresented community, because they're just so beneficial to the community. They were nervous that our initial plans were so ambitious, but they started in 2020 with the Adam Project and the group effort finance trainee salaries and housing during production. But when we saw those first 8 trainees on set for the Adam Project, it was clear that something good was happening. I left plenty of room for it to backfire, and I still think about the feeling in the pit of my stomach, the blind faith it can take to just leap. Lively said, I was worried because I advocated for 8 to 12 trainees and wondered if we started with too many folks. But after a half of a decade starting group effort, it has placed all of these internships, blah, 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 blah. Today, group effort operates in 20 cities while working. Group effort has marketed, you can still see what I'm saying. Okay, you can. Group effort marked its 5-year milestone with the release of a video Monday that highlights which I'm not fucking watching that thing. I'm not giving it one little piece, but we're leveling up even more, Deadpool actor says. I want you to keep that key piece in your brain here. We're leveling up even more. Group effort wants to see representation. You know, the real goal is for people to see through group effort. The real goal, inclusion shouldn't be an afterthought, blah, 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 blah. That is the end of the article. Now, I have been challenging everybody, teaching you what I have learned, because once I've seen it, I cannot unsee it, right? Once I've seen it, I cannot unsee it. Now, I want you to ask yourselves, do you know what the name of... Wait, let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe it doesn't say it right in this article. Guys, uh-oh. Let me pull up the... I don't think you guys... let me find where it eventually says... Where does it say it? The name of the grant. I can't find the article that says the name of the grant. But the name of the grant, you guys, that I'll find it and I'll make a TikTok video just concisely putting together my thoughts here. But what I'm telling you is that the reason that this headline says this, you guys, is because... And what keyed me off is this leveling up even more. The way that leveling is fucking spelled. That is the way that the grant for the $18 million Wrexham grant that he is getting bashed everywhere online for, that is the name of the grant, is the Leveling Up grant with the Welsh government. So they came out with this little fluffy, nice, gorgeous, like, oh, look at us. We've got this group effort, this little thing with blah, blah, blah for all of our, we're just mentoring all these little like people. And we just help so many people out with this mentorship program. And we're just so amazing. When in reality, this is a fluff piece that they are trying to push to counter all of the negative press that he is getting for his Wrexham grant. That's what that's for. Let me show you. Let's do a little Google see. Let's look and say, Wrexham. Yeah, that's the way that the grant was spelled. Let's see if we can find it. Council leveling up. It's that double L, right? Right here, the Times. That's why I had that Times article pulled up. Katie, it says here, oh, where is it? Do you guys ever do this when you can't find the word you're looking for? There you go. There it is, right there. That's that spot. It says, in recent years, both the council and the Welsh government have been heralded in £25 million of a regeneration product centering on Wrexham General Station, which is right next to the ground. However, it is not known that the vast majority of state aid would be provided directly to the soccer club. A bid for the project through the government's Leveling Up Fund had previously been rejected. And that was back in 2023, and I saw that. In order to pursue the project, the council used a central grant from the Welsh government. The authority had previously said that it had expected funding to be for the work to be equally split between public and private sector, ultimately creating £3 of public benefit for every £1 invested. Yet, in the documents supporting the award for the $14 million grant to the club, the council said there is no incentive for the private sector to pursue the project. And it added that the subsidy is therefore necessary to overcome this market failure to allow the redevelopment and contribute towards the objective to the economy of Wrexham. So the whole reason why the bullshit Blake and this Variety article is coming out and saying, oh, this leveling it up even more. Once you see it, you can't see it, unsee it. It's the way it is. I don't know. I don't know how it goes. I don't know why it's like that, guys. I don't get it either. So hey, how's it going? Agreed. Let's look at some comments. What are you guys thinking about? What's hip hop? Anybody got questions for me? Those are kind of what I had for you guys so far today. I did want to look at the headlines, but I mean, that's what would be a good thing, I think, to kind of glance at for everyone is to pull up. If you guys don't know Carol, she is effing amazing. If you don't know who I'm talking about, there's a woman on TikTok. Her name is Carol Snyder. She created this website called docketupdates.com. I'm going to add this in here because we have a very big week this week for the jurisdictional calendar. And she has been so amazing. She went ahead and added all of these things here. Isn't this, her website is insane. She does such a great job. You sent a link to the grant. Where did you send it, Globotron? I want to see it. Just sent a link. How do I get to the link? Where do you do it? How do I get to that? Send it to my email. Can you send it to my email? If you don't know what my email is, it's hello.katienkc@gmail.com because I'll go over it right now. I got a little bit of time before my babies get up. Send me the Globotron. I put your comment up on the top. Send me it. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and go over the calendar because there's a lot of stuff coming up this week. And so I need to save my voice. I do think I'm going to do a quick little video on the connection here. Dave Neal and Karen Flaw. Yeah, Carol is so great. Dave Neal, I heard he talked about my video the other day. I was like, thank you. And Kirsty, I think she talked about mine as well, but or I always say her name wrong. What is SEO again? Good question. What does SEO stand for? I forget, but it's kind of like the stuff that search engine optimization. You know, when you're like super smart about a lot of stuff and then like you're like the simplest thing, you're like, what does that mean again? Oh yeah, the color blue. How are they leveling up? It's just a BS. I also should probably have my email open for when that Globotron hopefully emails me that stuff. Just sent a link to the grant. I want to know what that grant. Yeah, it's actually closer to $25 million in grants that Wrexham has gotten. Ew, stop, mama. I'm just touched the key. I was literally down the rabbit hole trying to find all the receipts for this. And then I was like looking at the clock and it was 1:54. And I was like, oh, I need to go jump. Because that's what always happens is I'm like, oh, I could throw this in there. Oh, I should talk about this. And that's why I have such a hard time with like planned lives because I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's cool to have a planned thing, but then also like it feels weird to just constantly be like only talking about certain things when it's like, well, let's talk about whatever I want to talk about. You know what I mean? Chesty flaw. Oh no, is that really what it is? I know I pronounced it incorrectly. The Globotron. I hope you are emailing me that link because I for sure am looking for it here. I'm gonna check my spam, make sure it's not in there. It's not. Okay, I'm still waiting then. But the calendar from Carol, you guys, check it out. So tomorrow we should have a Wayfair Party response to the New York Times anti-SLAPP case. We've also got some deadlines for Thursday or Wednesday and then Friday. It's going to be some big readings. Thanks guys for being on here. The stuff be better. Oh, I don't know if I want to dive into that stuff. So there's some things that creators feel comfortable about making speculations about. And I'll just say, I will speculate about what I think I'm comfortable speculating about, but I don't like the damaging things when sometimes people really jump to a lot of conclusions that I don't really know that we have a ton of evidence. Or I think sometimes speculation, especially between the content creators, you guys, all of this stuff, like the drama, like I can't handle the drama with everything that's been going on. There's been a lot of people that want to stir up some stuff, and you're like, why? Why can't we all just get along and love each other and just all talk about the same things and just enjoy our, you know what I mean? Enjoy our time together. Like, we all can cover this stuff. It's not a competition. I need to know what the taxpayers of the are they? Yeah, I would love to hear from them as well. Because even too, like, if you guys, so I kind of got a little bit more. This is saying I need to drag a puzzle piece into over here. Um, Even too, like, something I want to talk about is if you guys have, and I know it's such a silly thing because I know he's taking advantage of stuff too. But have you guys seen Clarkson's Farm? Anybody know where I'm at? Where he's talking about the government grants in relation to, like, farming production for the UK and how tight and how different these things are. So, I think that there's a lot of stuff that I think is, oh, thanks, Alicia. Alicia, I talked about you earlier because, you offered so much good insight about, like, how, like, the filming part of things work. And so, I will have to go back because we're getting close to time and I do need to hop off. But I won't be surprised if stuff like this gets deleted. Why would it get deleted? What I do want to say is, you guys, I'm thinking about doing this more regularly. What should that look like? What do you guys think once a week? Are we cool with that? Or is that, and then I can just throw my other stuff in between? Or, like, how do we do this? I know. Thanks, J-Mom. It's getting a little better. I did a little hot honey tea situation that somebody, I think it was East 29th that recommended it. She was like, I give this to all of my people on the sets, and that really works out. And you're like, thank you. Scheduled is good so you can plan for it. Oh, that makes me feel good. Every 2 days, oofta. See, that's where I think I'm having a lot of trouble with this is, and I know I've heard other content creators talk about it as well, is at what point is this a hobby? And at what point is this work? Because, yeah, there's a little bit of an income to it, but also not that much. Enough for it's like, but if I put my full send into it, I might be able to do something, but do I want to do that? You know? It's just one of those things where you go, how much is because it's just so time consuming to do some of it. Like, even just figuring out the StreamYard thing took forever. Um, I mean, yeah. So I think I will do whatever feels good for me. But also I'm like, who's Kenny? Apparently everybody says hi. Yeah, but I'd love to. Also, if there's other creators that see this, if you guys ever want to collab with me, I would love to join on your lives. I would love to just pop in and be like a hello, how's it going? And just join you guys to shoot the shit for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, yes, East 29th. Hi. How's it going, girl? Yeah, I tried your tea. I'm gonna do it again. Though I did use sriracha and not cayenne because I didn't have any cayenne. So I didn't even have, like, red pepper sauce or anything. So um hopefully this was helpful. I think it will post to the live, to YouTube after this. And then, yeah. Does anybody else have questions or anything for me? Or anything? Thanks for the ice cream. Thank you for so I don't know what a YouTube hype is, but apparently somebody did that. I just want to say thank you. I also don't know what it means when, like, dollar amounts pop up. That seems wild. I don't know if that's just like a donation or whatever, but thank you. Um, and yeah, over 100 today here. Yes, keep it going. Last week was over 30. Oh yeah, because the people there, that's awesome. Yeah, guys, if you didn't know, I ate a couple of dips last week and gained, like, doubled my following on TikTok, which is insane. But they're not here for the things that we're here for, right? So then I'm like, oh no, how do I do all of this, right? Yeah, a couple. Yeah, the dip video, guys, I was, like, avoiding my phone because it was just blowing up, and I was like, "I can't with this, like, it's giving me anxiety." But then I'm also like, "Wait, should I go eat more dip?" So then I'd literally be, like, texting my husband and my friends, and I'm like, "Wait." So my husband thought I was absolutely insane because I would come home with, like, bags, and he'd look at me, he'd be like, "Is that more fucking dip?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." It's dip, like a dip, like you eat a dip. I think I put them on YouTube, but literally they have, like, 200 views on YouTube. Like, nobody on YouTube gives a shit about the dip. But on TikTok, millions of people are, like, insane about dip. And I'm like, my tummy hurts. I need a minute to like recoup the digestion situation and then I can come back with more dip. So, thank you so much for all of your things. Okay, I have a question that's TikTok niche. And Alicia, this is what's making me think of it again. Does it automatically add in your Canadian flag to your name? Or do you choose to put that in there? Because I think it's just coming off in my brain where it says, like, is it just auto added to everybody from Canada? Oh, okay, we put it. Okay. Just, I thought I'd ask. I see it and then, okay, good. When they were banned, Canada was banned from TikTok? I didn't know that neither. I'm in oh, yes, that's right. East 29th. I do know that. How are you guys doing over here on is there any other videos I should be checking out while we're at down here? I do think I want to make a little quick video. I gotta go. Okay. Anyways, I love you all. We'll talk again soon. We're gonna be doing this probably more often. But thank you for sharing this. Let's get it out there. I will get better as time goes on of how to share my concise thoughts and not just be rambling. But that's why sometimes I feel like TikTok's a little easier because I can just record it, right? When I'm live, it's just like you guys just hear the word vomit. Like it's just all coming out. So, okay. Shout out, go to Carol. And if you don't know Carol, go to her page. Go check out Alicia's videos. She's who we've talked about today. Who else did we talk about today? Boo on Ryan, boo on Blake. The judge did some orders we like. I mean, we don't know if Baldoni's a good guy or not, but we'll find out. Dip, don't eat the bitch and sauce. I hear that they've got some drama, but I'll talk to you guys later, okay? Bye, friends. NAG, what does that mean? Where's NAG at? Is she here? No. I might talk to TikTok about some drama after this. Okay, bye. Come join me over there.